They called us fragile, a species of flesh and bone, so icily broken. While their empires stretched across the stars, they looked at us with amusement, a candle in a storm that could be snuffed out at any moment. But they were wrong, because fragility is not weakness. It is the seed of resilience, the spark that turned survival into defiance, and defiance into victory. The war began long before humanity had built its first faster-than-light ship. Two ancient civilizations, the Vathari and the Kelith, had been locked in a conflict spanning millennia. Their fleets darkened suns, their weapons cracked planets, and yet neither side could claim triumph. To them, humanity was irrelevant, a latecomer species, barely stepping beyond its home system. When their war spilled across our skies, Earth was nothing more than a battlefield chosen by chance. The Vathari descended first, tall, luminous beings of crystalline form. They announced their dominion with words sharper than blades. Surrender, fragile ones. Your existence will be preserved as curiosities. But humanity did not surrender. Instead, we fought, not with grand fleets, but with everything we had. Improvised weapons, hidden bases beneath ruined cities, and a spirit that refused to break. The Kelith arrived soon after, not as saviors, but as conquerors with different flags. They were predators carved of steel and fire, who saw in us only expendable pawns. To both empires, we were insects caught between titans. The first years were devastation. Cities crumbled under orbital bombardments. Oceans boiled where weapons fell. Generations lived and died in bunkers, their only view of the stars marked by flames of battles they could not comprehend. Humanity should have been erased. By every calculation of logic and probability, we should have withered into silence. And yet, something stirred in us. Perhaps it was because we were fragile that every life lost burned too deeply to ignore. Perhaps it was because we had nothing left to lose that we began to imagine impossible things. The moment everything changed was not on Earth, but on a shattered moon of the Kelith frontier. A group of human engineers, refugees hidden among the wreckage, discovered fragments of both alien technologies. They could not replicate the vast weapons of either empire, but they found something the others overlooked, a resonance, a vulnerability hidden within the frequency of the Kelith's communication relays. Where the empires saw only complex machinery, humanity saw a chance. With stolen transmitters, jury-rigged amplifiers, and code stitched together from desperation, we forged a weapon not of destruction, but of disruption. It was small, fragile like us, but when unleashed, it fractured an entire Kelith fleet. For the first time in the long history of their war, both empires paused. Who had done this? Not the Vathari, not the Kelith. It was the fragile ones. Whispers spread across the stars. The humans had broken the unbreakable. The humans had found a way. And yet, rather than destroy us swiftly, the empires hesitated. To them, we were an anomaly, a puzzle unworthy of fear. That hesitation was their mistake. The war grew bloodier. Human colonies rose and fell like sparks against a storm. Still, the fragile ones fought on, but our true weapon was never in the machines we built. It was in the why we fought. The Vathari fought for pride. The Kelith fought for dominion. But humanity, we fought for each other. For the mother shielding her child beneath a burning sky. For the soldier who refused to abandon their comrade. For the memory of those who had already fallen, whose names still echoed in our hearts. It was this fragile love, this fragile hope, that became unbreakable. The climax came above the dying star of Seraphiznine. Both empires gathered their greatest fleets for a battle that would decide their millennial war. Caught between them, humanity should have been obliterated. But instead, we chose that moment to strike. Our fragile ships, patched together from wreckage, charged directly into the fire. Pilots knew they would not return, yet still they flew. Engineers detonated reactors by hand, tearing holes through enemy lines. And in the heart of chaos, the resonance weapon was unleashed again, this time amplified 1,000-fold. The Kelith fleets shattered. The Vathari strongholds burned. The war they had waged for an eternity unraveled in a single human heartbeat. When silence finally fell, the stars themselves seemed to watch us differently. No longer curiosities, no longer pawns. The fragile ones had changed the war. And though many of us did not survive to see it, the galaxy would forever remember humanity not as weak, but as the species who taught the mighty that resilience is the sharpest blade of all.